not.
Because we haven't had Tom on since he had to miss the last one because you need to explain the story.
No, I don't.
Face.
And it was just
You were there going.
just sitting there.
Now this is the
In
ultimate.
Germany, sausages are that big. In the US, they're this big.
Just
be
don't,
careful,
just
yeah?
don't. I think that's. I
If
think
it had moved on the plane, that'd have been it. It could have been game over.
that's crazy, isn't it? How wonderful is that? I'm really looking forward. I've never done a video for DN Solutions before.
How interesting was that place?
Amazing. They've got a Spindle hotel. Have you ever heard of a Spindle hotel?
Honestly, we'd been there all day. All day, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, you're full of sausage.
Yeah, it's like, they were all like,
Looks the same on the X-ray.
they were all like, you're breathing, you're talking, you're absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know what you're on about. Anyway.
Are you not going to die? No, right. The sausage joke.
Yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you by MTDCNC, the go-to platform covering the latest stories in the world of manufacturing.
Welcome, everybody, to today's MTDCNC Uncut, where we're going to be talking everything about industry. I've got Joe with me, I've got Paul with me, and I've got Tom with me. And we're going to give you some of the gossip and what we've been up to. We've done quite a bit of travelling, haven't we, all of us, over the last few weeks. And we've actually cheekily skipped an uncut because of how busy we've been. So we do apologise for that. But what's the goss? What's going on in the industry, guys?
What was the last time you were on a plane, Tom? Talk about travelling.
No, we're not.
Because we haven't had Tom on since he had to miss the last one because you need to explain the story.
No, I don't.
That face.
Will you let us explain it then?
Oh, God, honestly.
Are we okay to explain it?
Go on then. I'll let you do it.
Can I do
you were
it?
there. I wasn't.
Yeah, so we went after we'd been to Emo. Tom and I were jolly and happy and walking into one of the lounge areas where we can get some food. So as we did, one of the team members came over and just patted Tom. Oh no! We went up to the area where you can go and pick up your food. So Tom got a sausage or two. Did you? Yeah, I got a bit of salad and some little drinks and stuff, and put them on the table. And then one of our other colleagues came over and just went, right, lads, like this. Well, to you, not me, or unless. And then tapped Tom on the back, to which Tom kind of choked and fell forward. And then that was it. Didn't think anything of it. And then Tom kind of disappeared. And I went, where's Tom gone? And he'd gone, someone said, I think he's gone to the toilet or something. Then about 10, 15 minutes later, I walked outside and I saw Tom on the phone, sitting in a corner on his own on the phone. And I thought, he's talking to his missus.
Just had another you after email.
Yeah. We were all absolutely exhausted at this point. So what I then saw is Tom was sat behind me on the plane and didn't think anything of it. And he was asleep. And I then obviously did the generic, let's take pictures of the person behind me asleep. And then he didn't know. So then I showed him as we got to the plane and he just kind of went like that. So I thought, I'll delete them. Don't worry if you don't like it, And I thought, oh gosh, Tom's really kind of tired or whatever. And then suddenly Tom was walking around in quite a state, weren't you, Tom? And it had really hit you. Oh no, you were running because at Heathrow, when at Heathrow they have those trains. Mm-hmm. And he was running and I was like, oh, what's the rush? What's up with Tom? What's going on? You can proceed, Tom.
Oh, did you have something to declare?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know how I got through security.
It was about 3 inches long.
Yeah. So I was eating this
sausage.
I was eating this sausage, which was actually a lot bigger than I imagined. It was about yay big. And as I went to eat it, obviously the guy pat me on the back, and I literally went and he nodded my head forward and I threw it down my throat. So I had this thing stuck.
Sorry, can I just repeat? You threw a sausage down your throat? Okay,
yes.
Yeah, just checking.
To the point where I thought, that's bad. That's really bad. So I went to the toilet and tried to throw up. Couldn't get it up.
That's when you went.
That's when I was sat outside. And then I came back in to try and get a drink. Tried to have a drink, which obviously... this thing's now wedged in my throat. I couldn't drink. So obviously then I had to then run and throw that back up because I couldn't do anything about it. Managed to sit on the plane all the way back. Got off, like I said, ran through the airport. Got back to the car and drove straight to easily the worst hospital I've ever been to in my life.
Was this in like Hounslow or something?
Yeah, it was 26 minutes for me. It was literally when you Google hospital near me.
Yeah.
It was the closest one I could find. sat in the waiting area for 4 hours for them to say, oh, because you're breathing, we're not that bothered. You've got at least another 6 hour wait. So I got back in my car, drove all the way home. I walked back in my house at 6:45 in the morning. Obviously, we've been travelling, so I'd not slept. Managed to get 20 minutes on the sofa and then woke up choking because obviously I couldn't swallow anything.
Why were you choking, Tom?
Saliva.
Because you had a sausage down your throat.
Yes.
Yeah, you were just choking.
That was it. Rung my sister quick, dropped my boys off at my sister, went straight to the hospital, and I was at Bassett Law for 20 minutes, and I'd already been through 3 doctors, an X-ray, and a blood test. And then
A blood test?
What's a blood test?
I don't know.
They have to do it all.
I think
It's
we
like
just
your
do it.
pre-check.
Oh, it's because
Yeah,
they've got to
yeah.
check you're not contagious or
We
anything.
can confirm you've got a sausage in
In
your
your throat. By your blood.
The funny thing was, on the X-ray, you could see the sausage on the X-ray. That was quite funny.
Did you take a picture?
No, I couldn't. No, because no.
So many jokes.
Yeah. But the first thing he said to me was,
Feel free to comment below, by the way.
we're going to treat this. I said, all right, how are you going to treat it? Go and buy a bottle of Coke. So he made me go and buy a bottle of Coke. Because what they say, if you get something stuck in your throat, fizzy pop normally unlodges it.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So I was talking to the doctor and he was like, yeah, we sort of say for people who don't drink fizzy stuff, just have 1 glass of something fizzy a week just to keep, anyway. So I was like, oh yeah, that didn't work. So I thought, I'll sit in this waiting room, I'll end up going into surgery, whatever. No, they took me to major incidents, which was the weirdest thing ever because, and I don't want to go too gruesome, but as I'm walking
Well, I've got
through...
the picture if everyone wants to see it.
Well, no, I walked through major incidents. There was a guy there with a cut all the way down his arm. There was like the aftermath of something. I was like, what the hell am I doing in here? And they gave me this guy came in and did the Heimlich maneuver on me 3 times. After the second time, I asked him if I could come back weekly because it was lovely. Because he cracked all my back. It was right now.
Did he have like go gadget arms?
No, it was honestly, he was for anybody who knows, he was the size of Joe Amos. And I thought, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So anyway,
I get what you're saying there, Paul, just for the record.
honestly, it was. I'm just ignoring you. It was brilliant. And then the third time, he went 1 minute and he pulled what I can only imagine was like a wine cork out his pocket for when he put his thumb on it, so his thumb didn't go back in. And he did it the third time, and I heard the biggest crack of it, and he broke my sternum.
You're joking,
He cracked my sternum because obviously they've got to check. Anyway, that didn't work. So then they couldn't get me into surgery straight away. So they sent me home again because I just didn't want to sit in hospital. So I went home. Sunday morning went to Doncaster Hospital then. So I've been to 3 hospitals in 3 days. And yeah, got there and it was really funny because I walked into like the reception area and the nurses were all like, they'd read the notes and like, shut up, you're full of crap.
No, you're full of sausage.
Yeah, it's like, they were all like...
Looks the same on the X-ray.
Yeah. They were all like, you're breathing, you're talking, you're absolutely fine, there's nothing wrong with it, I don't know what you're on about. Anyway, went down in surgery and they put the camera in and yeah.
Oh, God, such a rude joke.
They put the camera in and what had happened is the reason they couldn't get it out is as it had gone in, it had sort of wedged. So it was wedged in.
Sausage wedge. Yeah.
The first thing the surgeon said to me, I got an absolute rollicking off the surgeon for getting on the plane.
I'm not
Said I
surprised.
should have never got on that
Why
plane.
after the X-ray? Didn't they operate on you there
Because
and
they
then?
couldn't get it. It was because it was a Sunday. They don't have the people there.
Oh,
So I got a rollicking for getting on the plane because he said if it had moved on the plane, that'd have been it. It could have been game over.
yeah, you could have been.
Said it would have only had to gone up and over my windpipe, and nobody would have done anything because it was.
Massive.
And
It's the
for
first thing I
Lyndsey,
thought. I can't believe you
it
didn't
was
get on
quite
the plane.
girthy.
Oh my God.
So if it had moved, no one on that plane would have been able to do anything.
Yeah.
It'd have been game over.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for tuning into this week.
So anyway, he used the front of the camera to knock it straight, and then it was really weird. They shot a net over it and pulled the whole thing out whole.
Like Spider-Man.
And when he pulled it out, I literally saw the nurse's face go. And then obviously my life is taking photos and videos. So after it all happened, I said to the nurse, have you been there? I want to take a photo of that. And the surgeon went, yeah, so do I, because nobody will believe me if I tell them.
No.
Was it a battered sausage? Or
No.
something?
Tom was battered.
I was battered. I was wrecked. For 3 days, I was just...
Gosh.
So at 2 point, you had 2 sausages. Yeah.
So yeah, so it was not a good end from emo. And then The problem was, straight after that, I got COVID from the hospital as well. So I got that, and then I had COVID.
COVID sausage?
I got COVID sausage.
Who knew?
So for a full week after emo, I was just dead. It was awful.
Well,
because COVID, I've had COVID a few times, and that was the worst.
The severity of all of this, though, there is like a really serious side to it as well.
Oh,
so we're really grateful.
It was just what the surgeon said about
review your risk assessments, I guess.
I know, yeah. It was just like the surgeon said. I'd not thought anything about it. I just wanted to get home because that's what you do. But when he was having a go at me, I was like, I felt like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Because this guy was like proper laying into me.
Yeah, yeah.
But the panic, I mean, when I first heard it, I thought, I can't believe you got on that plane.
Yeah.
Because that would, to me, that's the first thing you're up in a...
Do you want to know the grossest thing? And you might have to cut this bit out. I don't know if you might have to cut this bit out. But the grossest thing is, you create saliva constantly. You don't even know it's happening, right? It's happening now. And it just goes down the back of your throat and that's how it happens. The problem is, I was doing that, but the saliva couldn't go anywhere. So all the way back on the plane, I was having to so I had a sick bag of saliva because I couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
And
thank goodness for manufacturing and the medical sector of what people make, the instrumentation of being able to sort you out.
But so there is a tenuous thing here somewhere.
I've had my appendix burst and things like that, and this was the worst thing I've ever been through. But it was the point of, you tell people and they're like, I don't know what you're on about. You're fine. You're talking to me. You're breathing. What's up with you? Like, I could feel exactly where it was all the time. Because the doctor was like, do you know where it is? I went, yeah, it's there and there. He went, all right, well, X-ray there and there. I went, bang, it was straight on the X-ray.
I can't believe you didn't get a picture of
you talk about medical. I was at Smithstown a couple of weeks ago in Ireland, which I know you've been there.
What a place.
We talk about the advancements in manufacturing and the medical parts and instrumentation that they make. My God, some of the sizes of these components. Did you see?
Yeah,
did they show you that almost like a Petri dish where you can't even see? It's just almost invisible to see the size of these things, and they're turned. That's what I mean.
And they're using microscopes because there's grooves in them and things, and you're like, and it's. I know one of the things they make is something to do with goes in your artery. So when they blow a balloon up, this thing,
it's like a stent. That's like a stent that goes.
But it's like, you need a magnifying glass to see it, and it's all to like it's all accuracy. It's all like sub-micron. You're like, how are you even measuring?
Isn't it?
That?
Are we living in such a wonderful age?
How you hold these parts, and then how you machine them in order to make sure you don't get any kind of deflection or any movement. And I mean, it's just incredible.
How do you deburr something that small?
Yeah,
and they do. It's an amazing.
They still make
place.
those SRDs, sausage removal devices. Okay.
Next week, Joe Reynolds on tour.
Be an empty room.
Can I just say, how many sausage jokes have you had, like thrown at you? And,
do you know what?
Feel free to put them in the comments below. We'd really appreciate it.
Do you know what? It wasn't until probably.
Well, we gave it a week, didn't we?
Yeah. No, you didn't.
You
gave it a day.
Is he back?
I asked him if we could start.
Tom, are you okay? Are you not going to die? No, right. The sausage joke.
Yeah. You gave it. So I messaged you on the Monday, so I was all right. By the Tuesday, you'd already started. So it wasn't even 24 hours. Yeah. But now between work and football, there isn't one I haven't heard.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, let's see the comments below.
The thing is, it's just water off a duck's back. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, it's a story to tell.
Yeah.
Something to tell the grandkids.
We've travelled quite a bit, haven't we, over recent weeks, though, as well. There's been a lot. I mean, Joe Amos, he went to Canada as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he was in Canada. He went to a company called Tiger Cat. That content will obviously be coming to the MTDCNC channel soon. That was actually quite an interesting story that started at Coria in Spain, where me and Joe went a year ago to look at these machines that were being assembled for Tiger Cat. They make machinery for like the wood sector, wood chopping. I think these machines are for the wood chopping sector or something along those lines. But of course, Tiger Cat is a huge company in Canada. But they had like 4 Fox machines with automation on them, so pallet systems, which is quite a coup for Courier, because it's quite unusual to have such big machines
With pallets.
with automation too, and then a multiple of those machines installed. So it's taken a year really for these machines to be finished, assembled, shipped to Canada, installed. So we followed, Joe and Arthur over in Canada followed the story up there, shooting the installation, seeing the machines in action. And Joe went to Niagara Falls at the same time, which is similar to what we went to, didn't we, a couple of years ago? It is a fabulous place. But he actually showed me a photo of Niagara, and he went under, because we were with Lee Scott a week or so before he went to Canada, and Lee said, we didn't know this, if you go to Niagara Falls, you can go behind the waterfall.
Right.
I did.
You don't get wet.
It's kind of like, it's almost like a tunnel behind it. And it only cost $15 to do this experience. And he went by and he took this photo, and I'm not joking, the waterfall was from here to that.
Yeah,
that
it's really
window,
close.
Have you
sent the picture?
I sent the picture, yeah. So it was literally from here to that window. And I thought to myself, there was no kind of ropes or
there's no
barriers. And I'm just thinking to myself, that
Wouldn't last long, would you?
no, I think that would kind of frighten the life out of me, to be that close to, if you had a moment of madness and just decided to leap out of this thing. God.
One of them intrusive thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah. What would you do? So that was one of Joe's several trips that he's done this month. It was interesting.
In Korea, world-class machines, don't get me wrong, but you wouldn't expect automation on those, would you?
You don't. And I think that was the big subject of the story, really. It's the fact that these machines now are being used with multiple pallets in order to keep the spindle in cut. But they're also multi-process as well now. So you've got these machines that are milling, turning, grinding. So you're trying to, it comes back to sort of almost like automation, where you're trying to do everything in one setup. Certainly if these are larger castings, whatever the end part actually is, or I wasn't there. But it's about one-hit manufacturing.
I went to Bulgaria as well. That was such a wonderful trip. We went with Spinner, and obviously, we're there to see all of the manufacturing, but everywhere you go, you get a different sense of the people behind the brand, and you learn so much, don't you? Whenever you travel, you learn certain ways of different cultures and stuff, the food, just the way people are. And I just love, and I've seen it quite a bit, especially when we went to Czech earlier on in the year, Paul, but just how incredible these facilities are, and how close the relationship is between the person working for the brand. Basically, I'm trying to say they're very proud to work for the company. It's like they are connected. They have a relationship with the business. It's an attractive place to work as well. And I just think that, I don't know, every single time we travel, you see the different cultures behind, and how when we went to Bulgaria, they have the facility, their HQ in Germany, but they're trying to say, no, we're all the same wherever we are.
What's the reason behind producing in Bulgaria?
Well, they're assembling the machines in Bulgaria now as well. But they kind of streamline it. Doesn't matter where you are. When you go into a building, and everywhere, you can be anywhere. It's a bit like, I shouldn't really compare them, but a Premier Inn, Purple Hotel, wherever you go in the world. You never stayed in one. But wherever you go,
it's only the Hilton and up before.
It's a bit like the first class lounge, Paul,
that one.
Yeah, not the exclusive you normally.
But it doesn't matter where you are in the world, that brand, and it doesn't matter. And that's exactly what they've done. So they're expanding, aren't they? Spinner are expanding as a company. And I think when we went to Thailand, we saw it differently as well. I think we're quite different cultures, especially from the UK to Thailand.
Well, I guess there's lower cost economy. There must be some benefit to that for Spinner. There's got to be.
Why do it otherwise?
Maybe some geographic reasons, however it works. But I heard it was even warm and sunny over there, which I was surprised to hear actually.
And I
don't almost think you're going south. I must think of Bulgaria as you go in east, but I guess you're going east and south, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's bizarre. You get the snow. You get the proper seasons.
Yeah, you do get full seasons.
Proper seasons.
Yeah.
And amazing food. And what's lovely is they have a canteen, and all the food subsidised by the business. So yet again, as small as it is, it becomes a very attractive workplace. And I think what I'm talking about a lot is, how can these businesses stand out from the crowd? How can they make their facility attractive? And I did a podcast the other day. David Turner. you know him from the US. He does podcasts as well. And I did a podcast with him. And I said, oh, you know, I'm seeing facilities that have gyms in them. You know, so on people's lunches, they can go to the gym, you know, get all the endorphins going, and then they, you know, go on afterwards. And the afternoon, they don't then have to pay for a gym membership, and especially if you've got children, that's all these incentives across the board. I'm seeing. It's interesting, though, isn't it?
It's the race for talent, isn't it?
Yeah.
People typically don't move a job for more money. Of course, that happens. It tends to be, like you say, the gym things, and just, I suppose, if your office and your work facilities is as nice as your house, you might not want to go home.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You know,
But I also get, and I think this is one of the frustrations that we air a lot here in the UK, is we travel to a lot of these facilities where they're manufacturing, assembling machines, machining all the parts for the machines, and they're huge. You know, these sites cover acres often, and here we don't have that still. You know, we don't have that yet. We are, you know, the recent announcement we published about Rolls-Royce and the nuclear modular reactors. You know, how much of that is going to be made here? Because if a lot of it was machined here and not just assembled here, then people would need to buy more machines here. And then machine builders might be attracted to this country to make machines here. And then those machine builders might be in the race for talent, and they might have gyms within them. They might do all of those things. But it's almost like everywhere, every one of these sites we go to. I mean, last week I was at Sodic Deutschland, but I was also at a company called Bedra, where they manufacture wire for the EDM processes. But these sites are huge, and they're massive manufacturing businesses. And you question why that's often not the case here, certainly with these machine builders, and it is overseas. And when you talk about Bulgaria and other European countries, what are their governments doing to support the creation of jobs and the creation of these sites in those countries that are attracting German businesses to set up there? So you know, it's an interesting dynamic, and it's really fascinating to speak to companies from Europe. And that's one of the, all right, we go to look at product, but you also go to understand their cultures, like you say, and also their governance, how taxation works.
How do they make where they are attractive? What is going on? You know, are there, and everyone now is obviously, we hear it all the time, is, you know, we're not getting the skills through, and finding staff and talented staff, what they need is difficult. We have the same problem here. Should we go now, Tom? Yeah, shall we? But it's interesting to hear and see what businesses in different countries, what are they doing to attract the talent?
It's an interesting point. If we didn't have world-class engineers in the UK, we'd have no manufacturing, because there's no real incentive to open up a factory here, is there? Without being too political. You know, land's expensive, electric's expensive, little or no support from the current and previous governments. So it's not very attractive other than world-class engineers. And that's why you do see, you know, the Formula One companies, some high-end, you know, medical companies, aerospace, these big, expensive, valuable components are made here, but some of the lower cost ones clearly aren't.
Not to contradict that, but when we did a podcast with the guys, forgive me if I can't remember the actual business, but it was with the guys from Sodic, and they were talking about how the smaller businesses, Bird's Precision, that's where we were, the smaller businesses struggle to find talent because all like people coming through want to go for all the big brands. So they want to go for all the big brands, but it's the smaller businesses that teach you where you can and allow yourself to make the mistakes. Therefore, you become a better engineer. Whereas they were saying all the bigger brands just suck up all the talent, and then they're doing different tasks, or, well, in their eyes, more mundane tasks than you get when you can have that creative freedom in a smaller, less known business. Tom, actually, I'll throw that one over to you because of your history. You've come from a smaller business. So did you have creative freedom? I know it was your wife's dad's business as well. So. Yeah,
so I was a little bit different to everyone else because obviously how I got there and what I was doing, but we always had the worry of apprentices. So apprentices are always a big one. I was talking to a company I went to last week about the exact same problem. Is that Marcin, Factory 33? Yeah. They were saying the problem you've got is you will get an apprentice in, you will train them up, and then a company like McLaren, let's say, will come along and put a job advert out, and people will jump at it because of the name.
Yeah.
You might go there and you might go from programming to just being a button pusher, but you've got that name on your CV. And this is that's one of the biggest problems at the moment, is people are following the names. So on their CV, they can then pimp themselves out for more money because, well, I've worked at McLaren, so you now need to give me an extra £5 an hour. He says, and the problem is, it's working. He says, because the smaller companies then are having to pay that £5 an hour more to
for
get
a less skilled worker.
exactly.
Would you say?
Yeah,
But yeah,
and the challenge with that is that you need someone to step in from a government perspective and potentially incentivize the smaller companies to somehow invest in technology to retain their staff, reduce their taxes so that you don't have, unemployment as it stood the other week was at 5%. I mean, it's the highest it's been for
but the thing is,
decades.
if you're at a small shop, you are, and I know we always say it, but if you're at a small shop, you are part of a family. Everyone knows each other. You have a good laugh. It's
You're a big
great
fish
fun.
in a smaller pond, aren't you?
But if you go to these really big companies, you are literally just a number on a name card.
Yeah.
You're number 12 and you're number 13. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, with a smaller company, you'll get more freedom because obviously I need tomorrow off because Babby's at doctors. All right, no problems. You're not going to get that at these big companies. So I think sometimes the smaller places are overlooked when they shouldn't be because it might not be as glamorous on your CV, but what you will do there and how you will be treated there will be miles better than other places.
Yeah, I guess.
And by the way, I'm not saying McLaren treats you badly. I'm just, it was the first name that came to mind.
Yeah. And it's not to say any of these big brands are, it's just that's what's happening. And the smaller guys, that's what they're saying. Where are these people going?
Apprentices
Why
are
can't
just
we?
essentially the deer in headlights. They see a big name and that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
It's not, they haven't got the experience of what it's going to be like when you get there. Because we were talking about it and it says a lot of these big places, the staff turnaround is ridiculous because people go there thinking it's going to be this big glamorous thing. They get there and it's like, well, I was setting jobs up, I was programming them, I was measuring them, and now I'm literally putting a block in and pressing the green button, waiting 20 minutes and doing the same again.
If you look at some of the big aerospace companies, they've got sealed processes. You can't even change it. If you say, I've got a tool here, could do this job fast, you can't do it. So they're literally putting in components, billets and taking components out.
It's difficult because you see a big brand and you want that growth. You'll go, right, I'm going to start there and that's my quickest way to grow. But maybe it's, actually David did ask me a question, what advice would you give to someone like a younger person? I was like, just be patient. And you don't realize and you don't know, but everything that you're doing is you're learning every single day a tool to kind of help you grow, but you don't need to go there.
Industry knowledge.
Yeah.
The longer you're here, the more you'll learn and you'll go, actually, that's not for me. I want to be there instead of just... It's not a one-way road. There's so many different ways you can go.
People want to get from here to here, like that.
But it's not always the best way.
Yeah. And these smaller companies, the challenge for them is they want to employ people, but they can't find them. So then they'll be led down the route of automation, which they should anyway. Then they might be reticent to invest because they don't have a longer term commitment from their customer to be able to invest in the automation. So then labour might be a better option because they can kind of push and pull it as it's a very, very, very
difficult.
I
don't think people have confidence now with any industry, and I think that's where we're at.
But it's having confidence with automation as well. Now, this brings me back to Martin at Factory 33. I went 2 weeks ago. He doesn't have masses amount of work as in runtime. So he's not doing 1,000 off, 3,000 off. He says he might do 2 off, 3 off. But what he'll do is he's got a Matsura MX420. I did get that name right. Yeah. And what he uses the machine during the day for like your bits and bobs. And then at night, he'll set 4 different jobs up on it that might have just 2 off, but he'll set 4 of them up. So he'll go home and come back and all the jobs are done. But then through the day, he can use that machine for little bits and bobs. And he was saying, which is really good, and I cannot wait for people to see the video on this, is he getting that machine completely changed how he thought of running a business. That one machine.
Really?
To the point now where he's actually bringing work off other machines onto that just because it's so much easier.
Yeah, we see it everywhere, don't we? The days of having 10 VMCs in a row, some are green lights, some are red lights, some operators outside having a cigarette and what have you. Them days have to be gone.
But you know,
vaping now.
But you better, instead of 10 machines, perhaps just get 2, maybe 3 automated. Then you're going to get probably treble.
But you know,
output.
one of the things he said, and this really hit home. This is he doesn't chase cycle times. He says because it doesn't matter to me. Mm-hmm. He says if that machine's running for 10 minutes longer, if I could get that program running 10 minutes faster, but my tool's going to cost me 3 times the price. Well, it's running overnight. I'm not here anyway. It doesn't have to run flat out. Mm. And like, obviously, we go to a lot of places who are trying to get every single second out of that cycle time. And he's like, I don't care. If it runs for 5 minutes longer, it runs for 5 minutes longer.
Interesting.
And it was really like...
But he's got as much time as he wants to run it, hasn't he? That's the thing.
That's what I mean. He says, I'll set it running on a Friday night. He says, Saturday, when Mrs. is cooking tea, I'll nip in, change the bullets over, press go again. And he says, I'm not worried about cycle time because he's using all the, I can't what you call it. I'm going to say dead hours, but you know what I mean. He's using all that time when no one's there to get all his production done. So he doesn't have to chase that. It's just so much easier for him.
Nice shop. It looked quite...
Did you get donuts?
Yes.
Yes, honestly, every single time I see Marcin, he always buys us donuts. Honestly, I just think he's such a lovely guy. And I'm really, when you meet someone, you've seen their journey. I'm so proud because he's got a new machine shop now.
Yeah. It's a new machine. I was going to say,
it looked like he's got a lot. Honestly, it's like a showroom. But
it looks it.
We've got Elliot over here monitoring everything. And this is the second time I've been to Factory 33 with Marcin. I went, God, it must have been 6-7 months ago. And Elliot was really funny because me and Marcin were talking about CAD CAM, and it turned this obviously we try and aim for like 5-6 minutes, and I got Elliot behind the camera doing this because it ended at 28 minutes because we just started talking. We just went down the rabbit hole of just machining.
Should have done a podcast.
And it just. But afterwards, I was like, Elliot, how long was that? Marcin, I was like 5-10 minutes. He was like, I was like 26 minutes, lads. I was like, oh, sorry. I didn't realise he was stood behind me, Elliot, and he was just doing this constantly, like, come on, wrap it up. But we were
just thought he was dancing.
Yeah. To the point he nearly was, but we just got talking. And it happened the other day, and I had to just say, Marcin, look, we're going to have to stop here, mate. Because he's one of them guys where he's so passionate about like machining and how things work. And that Matt Sora, we get people who talk highly of machines, but I'm not telling you what he said, but some of the things he said is just, it'll blow your mind because it made me look in a completely different way.
Yeah.
But now we've seen automation, I haven't seen the video, but I would argue we'll never buy another machine without automation.
Oh, don't you worry, Joe. I already pressed him on what his next machine is.
Hey.
But companies have to embrace automation, don't they? Yeah. We've been doing a lot of work on lots of automation companies this year. Lang Technique being one. I was going to say they're Robotrix. And what I like, they've got everything from what you call a Holbeck system, which is something that goes system. It literally goes, it's got a BT back end, so it goes in with the tools. And it just comes dead simple. Over the top of it, takes the vice out and then it goes away and then you bring in another one. So that's real low cost. And then obviously got the Robotrix systems as well, which is, you need automation.
Can you interface that to any machine?
Yeah. Any mail
plug and play. You don't even have.
But you must have to cut a window in the.
No, it goes to the door.
Right, you can load from the side or the front. Yeah. Typically they're from the front, but I've seen them on from the side.
What, you've got the spindle tool in that is.
You're on about the Holbecks now, yeah. So if you imagine like a BT40 tool holder, and it's got like a shroud, an aluminium shroud, and it basically goes down on top of the microphone, and it twists, and it just takes the vice out, and then you bring another vice in.
Yeah, and guess because it's 0 point, you're always guaranteed that positioning.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Good because that's low cost, but obviously then the idea is you grow into some of the more expensive Robotrix systems.
And what's good is they've even brought out the Robotrix Compact now as well. If you haven't got much room.
Right. Yeah.
So if you haven't got room for the Robotrix system, which isn't actually that big anyway, but they brought out the Compact, and we saw it for the first time at A&B. Because I still have a laugh with Danny from Lang because I saw it before he did.
But we talk about how hard it is for manufacturers, and it is around the world. But here, testament to guys like Marcin, that they are still investing, aren't they? They're still doing it. They're still saying, right, regardless of circumstance.
I think there's an element you have to have that risk, don't you, in any business to invest.
and the courage to do it, and a lot will be successful, some won't. I mean, in Germany last week, it was fascinating to talk to Pino there, who is the president of Sonic Deutschland. Guess how many companies have shut in Germany this year?
I would have a clue. 1,000.
22,000.
Oh, that's
22,000.
Not manufacturing businesses.
It's across the board,
Oh, okay.
but 22,000 companies. Now that is just an unbelievable amount.
Heartbreaking.
One of which is also a company that you've been to in the past when you went to Sonic Deutschland. The guy, I'm not sure of the circumstances, but he's now coming to work for Pino at Sonic Deutschland. But it's been incredibly tough around Europe as well. Certainly in Germany with the automotive sector. And I talked to the guys there about our government here not doing certain things. They have the same issues. Yeah, I've seen installations in Germany or companies in Germany where the government funded huge grants to invest in new machines for renewables and stuff like that. So it does.
And they do stuff for aerospace, don't they?
Yeah.
I think they've almost probably, I might be wrong, given up on automotive. Think we can't save that. Let's invest in other technologies, other industries.
But for 22,000 businesses to close, that's. And it was also interesting that they're under a left government as well at the moment, which they believe is obviously not as pro-business as they should be. But it's even more difficult for them to change from a left to a centre position because of history, as you can I'm sure.
I'm racking my brain who it was, so we'll have to talk afterwards.
But it really is. And then you go to Spain and you hear the stories in Spain and how the differences between the Basque region and other areas, how they get different tax incentives and breaks and stuff like that. So it is interesting to see, but I think the guys back here, for guys like Marcin and others that are investing, it's
incredible.
Testament to them.
Can I ask you a question? Just slightly changing the subject. You went to Bedra, and obviously it's to do with wire in an EDM machine.
Yeah.
But I think you said something like, you underestimated how much goes into, how much like science goes into it.
All these consumable products I don't often think too much about. You take for granted that
it's
a
going
wire
to work.
cut machine has wire.
I need some wire.
You need some wire and you buy wire, you know. But so Bedra manufacture precision wire from start to finish. But the process of getting to that final wire, which could be microns in diameter, it's basically like cold formed. So it's pulled, it's stretched. But it goes from almost like an inch bar down to, call it half an inch in one machine. Then it goes to another place and it's stretched again down to 2 millimeters or whatever it might be. Then it's annealed to soften it again before it's then stretched again. So it's not just about stretching this thing to the diameter. No, it's about making sure that all the tensions are correct and the structure and the credentials of the final product are met. It is a complete science. There was a doctor of EDM, would you believe, that we met. In fact, I did a video.
Is that a thing?
I didn't even know you could become a doctor of EDM, but he was so passionate about how their wire, how they create this wire in order to give, better surface finishes, more accuracy, longer lasting.
Is that sold in the UK?
It is now by Soditech. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a partnership between their machines and Bedra where a manufacturer is looking to achieve a much better tolerance, a much better surface finish. If you've got, they class themselves as pioneers in EDM machinery, Sodic do. And of course, Bedra are saying they're pioneers in wire technology. The two of these together give them this amazing solution to offer people. But to see it all happening and to see it all being made, I mean, there's these huge kind of like vats of just, of almost molten material, and I mean, it really is.
When I went to India, I saw that with like gold and silver and everything like that. It's really interesting, and how they then turned all of and I've said it before. I remember when we went and saw Les, and I was like, someone made a comment on the bottom of a YouTube video. I was like, it's like baking a cake because you got all these different ingredients, and he was like, no, I'm leaving it in there. But you've got to get the exact ingredients. Then for it to mix, you can't have any pockets of air or anything in it, of course. And then how they made all like the necklaces and all the machines that then intertwine. Obviously, we're not talking the level of precision that we're talking with wire, but it is fascinating. When you say, I can't say the word, metallurgists.
Metallurgist.
Meteorologist.
No, not
No.
them. But the science, metallurgists, you know, and the science behind different metals and stuff, it is incredible when you even just scratch beneath the surface. It's fascinating.
Well, I like to come up with some facts and the amount of wire they make in this place, right? How many times to the moon and back would their wire stretch that they make every year in their facility?
0. No. 3. Wouldn't have a clue.
It's 90 times to the moon and back. The
Sorry,
amount
one
of wire. Yeah, no one else gets.
No one else plays.
But
He
you
didn't,
imagine that
he didn't,
90
Wow.
90 times to the moon and back is the amount of wire that they're producing and selling. Because there's also wire that they're making for things like, you know, in your toothbrush. I know you don't use one very often, but in your toothbrush, there's like these little bits of wire at the bottom of the bristle. They make all that too. So all of that, it's not just
wire for all industry.
It's wire for all industries.
But that will be like the upper echelon, because that would be the, you know, the more technical, the high precision, and then there'd be different wires, obviously.
But 90 times to the moon.
Is there anybody in this podcast trying to upset you? I'm just asking.
I think I'm next.
If there is,
You're next.
Yeah, I'm next. I'm waiting for it.
Well,
on the
I've got a
agenda.
question for you and Joe, actually. How good is MTDCNC's insurance?
Why? What's happened?
Because last week, Citizen let me on one of their machines.
Oh yeah, I saw
Ah.
It's not good enough
How
for that.
good is your insurance?
Not good enough for
What
that,
was
Tom.
the
I
sketch
got
there? What
back
was-
on a machine. It was great. I was covered in grease and oil and swarf, and it was.
What did you? What
I went home smelling, and my wife went, "Please, no, not again."
Well, that's
I was
every
like-
day, isn't it?
Yeah. Not as bad as you, but anyway. And I was like, "Oh, this is heaven." It was great fun. So we've come up with a new script with Citizen now. We're going to do some educational videos, and I'm going to use the term Joe loves the most. Is we're actually making real world YouTube videos.
Okay.
So we're not. So these aren't going to be. This video isn't
Because
going to
apparently
be.
we don't make YouTube
No, because we don't
videos.
make YouTube videos. No, so this one isn't going to be the clean cut professional thing everybody sees. This is going to be more like if you watch one of these YouTubers running around the city. And essentially what it is, Chris from Citizen. So I've never used a Citizen machine before, and I've never used a Mitsubishi Control. And he taught me how to put the tools in, set them old school. So having the part running with a bit of paper and setting them and cutting apart and measuring it and checking it on. Getting around the system, adding all the tools, checking the program, running it through dry, which is a really cool feature I'd never seen before. I don't know if you have. So normally when you run your first program, you have to do it with the little knob, don't you? Yeah. And you slow it down. With a Citizen machine, you can do it with the hand wheel. So you can run the entire program, tool changes and all, with the hand wheel, and you can also wind it back. So you can go back 7 lines through your program.
Right.
So if you've cut across, you can then wind it back and check it again.
So you can obviously go as fast as you choose.
So
or
you can do it really slow. So even when it was cutting
for collisions and things like that.
I was doing the hand wheel while it was cutting to cut it.
You change increments, can't you? On the wheel.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then
time,
getting around
time.
the Mitsubishi system and changing the parameters.
What's that like to program on?
The Mitsubishi. So I didn't. So this is the one thing I didn't, and I did say this in the video. I did not program that part.
Right.
That's another video coming next year. We're gonna show
with a
people
higher
how to program.
insurance.
But it was so much fun. Like,
what was the machine you were on?
The B&E 51 MYY.
Oh, don't crash that, Tom.
Honestly, at one point I'm doing the hand wheel and there's 3 spindles, 3 turrets, 2 spindles, 3 tools in cut, and I'm like,
so is this a fixed head one?
Yeah. With three turrets all running at the same time, and me and this little hand wheel thinking, what have I got myself into here?
Yeah. I didn't quite realise how, you know, when you suddenly go, oh, you're a machinist and stuff like that, and obviously not being an engineer. You were a miller, weren't you? You were a miller, and when you joined,
no, I could. So I was a miller majority of the time, but I did. So this is going back to smaller shops as well. This is one of the good things is. So
you mean he was a miller when he did things right, and not a miller when he did things
You've
right.
got that right. You've got that. No, I was a miller when I was doing things right. I was a turner when I was trying to chop my finger off.
Did you actually?
Sorry, Tommy could have replaced it with a sausage.
Yeah. Got it. So this is a good thing about small shops as well. So I used to get given a block of steel and a drawing.
Yeah.
Make
Go for it.
I didn't have the program wrote for me. I had to do the programming myself. A lot of the times it would be, I'd probably get a drawing and say, you need this bit on. I'd have to go to the material stores, cut the bit of material off myself, turn it, mill it, grind it. I never did wire EDM, but we did have a wire EDM section. But we did have a rapid hole drill, an EDM drill. So if I broke any tap and I could run that, I was right next to my machine as well.
Use that
Not
lot.
on purpose. That was just where it was.
Tom's on that one again.
Didn't use a tap buster.
No, we had a proper EDM drill going in, which was good. But that was one of the good things. So I got to learn everything around the shop. Now, don't get me wrong, I hated turning. I don't know. I like being a miller because there was so many more. With turning, you hold it in your chuck or you collet, and that's it. You hold it. With your milling, you've got. At one point, I got a vice in a vice in a vice, trying to get the right angles and stuff. It was so much more interesting. So yes, I was mainly a miller, but I could do other things as well.
But it's interesting that you are now learning about different. I didn't realise, because I was talking about sliding heads on like your first day, and you were like, "Lynn's got no clue."
No,
not
See,
a clue.
I said this to you. The first day I joined, I said this. No, it was to Joe. Sorry, it was to Joe after the first week. I left JKP and I was like, I know everything. I've machined parts for every industry to whatever tolerance you want. I was here for a week and I turned to Joe and I went, Joe, I know nothing.
That's because he said in the interview he knew everything, didn't he?
Yeah,
And then you rang me up
And I actually said, no, you know nothing.
Tom just rang me up and says he knows nothing.
Manuel, I know nothing.
You've got to bluff it. I got the job,
Yeah,
so it
you
must have
did.
worked.
Can we talk a little bit just about our trip as well, just to tell everyone about Vice? Sorry, I'm looking at this huge bird that's going over the top of us here.
Yes, Vice.
Sorry, wow.
How interesting was that place?
Amazing. They've got a Spindle hotel. Have you ever heard of a Spindle hotel?
Honestly, we'd been there all day, day, right?
Yeah.
We'd learned about everything. And Lyndsey's favourite thing was this hotel thing.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
But it was just different and really unique. So basically, Vice Spindle Services, obviously, it says what they do in the name. And we got to go there and we got to understand, the process of what people, if a spindle breaks or anything like that, or if it's out, what happens, and the amount of photographs that they have to take, the measurements, the checking, and then the double checking and the checking to say, right, this is what's happened to your spindle, going through all of these different processes. And then they've got their own machine tools then that they can machine and work on the components. And they've even got tools that they've invested in for measurement, because the measurements are so tight. They're like next level in terms of accuracies. And then they've got a testing station, so then they can test your spindle for then 5 minutes, then when obviously they've repaired it, 5 minutes, then 20 minutes, and 5 hours. But the whole place is temperature controlled. So everything, measurements are like incredible tolerances. Then what they've got is this spindle hotel. So then if anyone needs to have a spindle, I know he's laughing, a spindle that needs looking after, then they hold on to the spindles and then they'll test all of those spindles in the testing centre as well. So it's like the whole process.
The storeroom then.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not though.
One of the good things about the spindle hotel is, so obviously if you've repaired a spindle, it's full of oil, it's full of grease.
And where does that, and gravity?
Yeah. If you sit that spindle on a rack, all that's just going to move to the bottom. You're then going to put it in your machine, and the top half of that spindle is going to be dry as a bone.
Yeah.
So every 2 months, I think he was saying.
I don't know.
Or it was
on
2 weeks or 2 months, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Every spindle on that thing gets run through the test to keep all the grease and all the oil running.
Can they not
around
do
the
what I do with
spindles.
my dams and gin and just turn it slowly every day?
No.
No.
Now that was your favourite part of it, but mine was
No,
the
it wasn't.
room.
It wasn't. But you had and I like the testing room and everything. But
No,
I think
see,
you like the room.
My favourite place was the training room.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've ever seen this in the UK, and they were saying they've never seen it either, where they're
Vice?
actually going to teach their customers how to maintain their own spindles. In a full training room, they're going to show them how to strip them, not completely, but strip them down to check bearings and stuff like that. And they're actually going to educate people on how to do this for preventative maintenance, which is great, but obviously that's going to take some of their business away, because obviously people aren't going to be coming with spindles if people...
It's all part of the service.
If they take care of it, that spindle's going to last longer. But it was how they were so invested in education and helping their customers, not just by fixing their spindles or whatever, but by giving them the tools and the knowledge to keep the spindles running longer themselves.
Is it spindles of any manufacturer?
Any manufacturer. And because they've got facilities in obviously the UK, Germany, America, and Asia as well, I believe. Because they've got all these different facilities, I can't remember the number.
I can.
You can remember. But how many, I think I'm close, but how
Spindles
many
do they repair to the moon and
spindles?
back?
How many different spindles did they have the drawings to repair?
Yeah.
And this is
Of
not
all
UK,
the machines
this is,
across the world.
150.
151.
Go a lot higher.
So I've won then.
2,637,000.
22,000
Wow.
Different spindles, and that they can repair.
Right.
That's pretty cool,
Yeah,
isn't
that is
it?
incredible.
Because of all the different nuances and shapes, size, and
But with
manufacturers.
22,000 spindles, I reckon you can get to the moon and back if you add them side by side.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But cool company, really cool
And
company.
does that then mean that they have repaired at some point in their company's history all 22,000
Yes,
spindle
because
types?
they only
I can't even
have.
think of 22,000
Well, they were
machines.
saying
I guess it wouldn't be just milling and turning, would it? It'd be all sorts of...
But you could buy a machine today. Joe could buy the same machine tomorrow, and the spindle will be it'll have like
Evolution
a
of
different
design.
bearing case or whatever.
Okay, so that's within the 22,000.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, but
That's not as impressive as it sounded before. You shouldn't have said
Oh, it wasn't 22 million either, though, Paul. Come on.
no. But one of the good things, what I learned when I was there, was they don't just repair spindles either.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you've got, let's say you're doing aerospace, it's all aluminium, and you've got a 12K spindle, you're going to be running that spindle at 10, 12K constantly. Now, as much as I was aware from when I was on the shop floor, if I had a 12K spindle, your highest torque range is more like 7,000 or 8,000. It's not 12K. So obviously you lose a bit of power. Now Vice can actually modify your spindle and put different bearings and things in to move that torque range up to what you're running at more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they can
So
improve.
yeah, so they can actually
because normally, as the more speed you gain, the less torque you've got. That's
so they
just,
can modify your
You've got that
spindle.
torque curve. haven't you?
Yeah.
So they can modify your spindle to what you need. So if you're not running at 4, 5, 6, 7,000, then you don't need any torque down there because you're not running that.
Yeah.
You need your torque higher end, so they can modify and put different bearings in and different. You think of a spindle, and when he was talking, there was so much that goes into it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And they've really invested in that facility. And another interesting thing, just to finish off, is they were based in that area, and they were going to move to a different location, but decided not to because the staff members have been there that long that they didn't want to risk losing their current members of staff because of how difficult it is to find these skilled people. Yeah. So they've stayed in a similar location to hold on to their staff members. And it's compared to even to the German HQ, which was like their big, number one. Now this one is like the latest state of the art, shall we say.
So if I'm a machine shop, spindle breaks down tomorrow. There, or even I'd use them as a.
Well, he was saying, and we're not going to mention any names, but he says most of the time, if your spindle goes and you send it back to your OEM,
it will go.
They'll just send it to them anyway.
Yeah.
He says so. A lot of the time, just put the middleman out.
Yeah. I didn't even know the company, to be fair, up until.
Oh, it was brilliant.
It was a really good day.
It was. Yeah. And the guy, and they'd even got. Now you're going to have to correct me on this because you spoke to him, not me. They'd even got a guy from Germany over helping to teach the staff. Was that right?
I don't know.
The young lad in the build area.
Elliot's
Elliot's nodding.
Yes.
I don't know who we're talking about.
I did listen. Yeah, Elliot was there with
Elliot, come and sit here.
Yeah. So they got a young lad from Germany over, just helping to train one of the new guys.
Oh, not Christian.
No.
No.
No, he's one of the young lads. He was in the test.
All I saw was a LinkedIn post the other day.
Yeah, see.
Saying,
okay.
I think goodbye to him.
Yeah, see, even our cameraman listened as much as we did. It was great.
I wasn't even there.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
really?
wasn't even there.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they it wasn't like we're UK, you're Germany, whatever. They all work so well. And the big boss guy was there, weren't he? He was saying like,
George.
Yeah, he was saying that now all the other subsidiaries will look at that facility as like
state of the art.
Yeah, benchmark. That was it.
Yeah.
This is now the benchmark of what he wants all the rest to look like.
Yeah.
When you go to these places, though, and we are privileged because you do see some of these processes and technologies that you would never, like you said, Tom, when you started, you think you know a lot, but you don't until you get there.
You know a lot in your bubble.
Yeah, but our bubble is now quite big, so you're getting to see all these different things. And I saw when I was at one of the Starag plants the other week, we were looking at hydrostatic guideways on machines. So how that works, where you've not got two the old traditional box guideways, you've got two pieces of metal together essentially, where the axes move on, but now they have this kind of exaggerated. Well, in fact, you've seen it because you pushed it.
Yes, I know. With my finger like that.
But it's literally like this film of oil between the guideways, and it just takes any frictional resistance away from, the movement of the axes. So the energy saving with stuff like that,
but speed and accuracy.
The wear, the speed, the less wear on
such
moving
weight can be held by oil.
I know, it's fascinating, and you see this, and you look at the advanced levels that these machine manufacturers are going to in order to, because I always used to look at machines and think, God, that's expensive for a machine, isn't it?
It's not great when he was trying to sell that machine. This is expensive, but we'll sell it you anyway.
You look at a car and it's 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. Then you look at a machine and it's 150 grand. You go, well, where is the comparative level between how you get a car that's got engines and all the rest of it, and then a machine that's £150,000? Well, when you start to look at everything that goes into the machine, the processes, all of the research, the development in order to get to these areas, you then obviously becomes a value to that, which is included in it.
Well, we know machines are getting slightly more expensive, but obviously it's what they're bringing in. So obviously when I was at Citizen last week, Chris was telling me he was like teaching me what I'm doing, but he was also telling me like things about the machine. And they've got a new machine now. It might even be the BNE. They've actually put sensors into the spindle that can tell you if your work holding isn't good enough. So it'll tell you if your spindle's running out. So if you're struggling to get tolerances and stuff, it'll tell you if your bit of material's bent or your work holding's not sat right or if the spindle's running out. It'll tell you why you're struggling. Where before it'd be one of them where you take the work holding off and check it. Now that's all right. You take the you take the chuck off and check it. Now there's so many in the controls. There's so much stuff in the back end of a control that people don't even realise is there just to help.
Which will also work in stuff with like your spindle wear and stuff like that. The machines
preventative maintenance.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They can tell you when the bearings are going before the bearings are going.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but like you said, you look at a car which you can drive all over the place. You've got this machine that's just sat in the shop floor, and you think, where's all my money going? But all the back end stuff in the control now is just so much stuff now.
One of the highlights of my last few weeks was when I was overseas in Germany. I was taken to this restaurant where we opted for a steak, right? Not sausage, a steak.
It's always food related.
And I've never had this before. Cheese chili sauce with steak. I've had cheese. I've had like Stilton,
from?
Like cheese chili sauce.
Or where are we going?
Steak, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, you would.
Delicacy.
Why in particular would he like it?
It'd get rid of his gout, right? Or give him gout, one of the two. But honestly, it was absolutely.
You get gout now.
I know, I do. Yeah.
So wait a minute, you went to see all this technology and all these amazing things, and
this steak
main
was
thing you come back
absolutely incredible with cheese chili sauce. And I've had steak with cheese sauce before, but this was fascinating. It was incredible. But in this bar we were in Germany as well, they had beer taps on the table, right?
Oh,
so
that's dangerous
so how
for you
clever
too.
is this? So you sit around this table. Here's your beer tap.
That's
and
like automation in a bar.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Exactly. So you pick Heineken, Stella, you press a button, right? And then you pour your beer and it records the centilitres that you've had. So you're just drinking all night. And then at the end of the night, it says you've had 8 pints and 10 centilitres. That will be €56. You pay by credit card and you walk out.
That is automation in a bar.
Yeah. And it was
You were
just...
there going,
just sitting there.
Now this is the automation you want to see.
Unfortunately, we didn't actually go on one of the tables because they were full. But I guess you have to book
pretty
them.
gimmicky, yeah. Good
But
idea.
there's no labour involved, so of course you haven't got waitresses or waiters coming up to you to serve, and you just literally you pick what you want. And I guess the only negative is if you can't pour a pint, then you're not going to get the same. If you've got a big head on it or what have you. But yeah, so chili cheese sauce. And then that was...
There we are.
I
Automation.
think we might have to wrap up there.
Good place to finish.
It's a good place to finish.
Yeah, he's feeling hungry now.
He is, he is. And we've got some really, really exciting trips going on. And I've never seen my calendar so crazy busy, like in the new year. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Well, you've got the DN Solutions open house.
Yes, I've got, between now and February, I've literally got Germany, Switzerland, Spain, Italy, and Germany again. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
How wonderful is that? I'm really looking forward. I've never done a video for DN Solutions before. So it will be like one of my first videos that I've ever done. And I can't wait. It's going to be their like festive open house.
And as you all go into the Akuma open house, I think, isn't
there's
it?
a really funny story. Well, not funny, but there's a
In
really
America?
Yeah. So I get to go to America for the first time. But this will be the second ever time I've interviewed somebody on an Akuma machine. You can't answer this. Who is the only person I've ever interviewed, Lyndsey, on an Akuma machine?
I would think it would be like, is it Richard? Oh, Paul.
It's Paul.
Yeah.
Oh.
The only time I've ever interviewed somebody on a Akuma machine was Paul. It was in my first week at MTD.
So that didn't make the cut then, no?
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, I'm so excited for that because we see Akuma machines all the time.
Yeah.
And going to America will be cool.
That'll be
So I
exciting.
get to
all
meet
I would
Arthur,
say is-
who is always good fun.
All I would say is, in Germany, sausages are that big. In the US, they're this big. Just be careful,
Don't. I think that's where we should leave this. We've got some really exciting times.
I do.
ahead.
When we do the next one, let's see if I come back from America sausage free.
Yes. On that note, we'll leave the podcast there. But please, we do encourage you to write sausage comments and banter with Tom regarding sausages in the comments box below. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening to our MTDCNC Uncut podcast. And I'm sure the next one will be fantastic with the coming weeks ahead. So thanks very much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening. If you want to find out more about what's happening in the world of manufacturing and engineering, visit mtdcnc.com.